of you, and blessings from Srila Prabhupada, Jagannath, Baladev, Shvadramayi, Shishi, Gauranitai here. Om Tat Sat. How is everybody doing?
We're good.
Jai. So let's do a little pranam for Prabhupada. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidinamane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Right, 1 second. Okay, so what do you quickly recollect from the last session that we had? Sorry for getting right straight away into business. Just to save time. What do you quickly recollect from the last time we had a discussion? We had some interesting insights. Open, just to throw in something. What was your interesting insight from yesterday, from last sessions?
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Ambika Devi Dasi Mataji.
Yes. Criticism can be taken as a very favorable thing for us because, like, I understand we can grow and we can take a real devotional attitude towards the criticism so that we don't act and react upon our false ego, but we just let it go and we take the criticism as something that we can learn from.
Thank you very much, Ambika Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wants to make a comment?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
Criticism, whoever criticizing us, they are our friends. And whoever is appreciating, they are enemies because they are making us to get pride and which will make us to come down from Bhakti.
Who said that?
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, if I'm not wrong.
Okay. Yes, correct. You're right. Thank you very much. That was quite a statement, right?
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes it could be difficult for us to do that, but that was the best attitude Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur prescribed. Okay, anybody else wants to share with the class an interesting aha realization or a comment?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I was thinking what you said last time was that it depends upon our attitude, how we actually receive criticism. It's our attitude which decides whether it's going to be growthful or not. So
exactly.
You gave examples of how people have received criticism, how it is given and how it is received. So that's what I remember.
Right. Thank you very much. Today we are going to actually examine how to receive a criticism and how Lord Chaitanya received the criticism. Any other comment?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, Rajeshwara Gauranga. It would be
Maharaj,
nice if you can also show us your wonderful Vaishnava countenance.
Yes.
Yes.
Maharaj, it's mentioned that, you mentioned about a blasphemy, aparat, what is blasphemy, what is aparat, and you have given example Shishupal, that how he blasphemes, and also aparat of, Ramchandra Puri's criticism. So these two things. And one more thing you were supposed to mention, maybe I missed it. So there are three kinds of criticism. And also you said that when Guru criticized, that is chastisement, and when Kormi criticized, that is criticism. And one more interesting fact, one more thing you said, that devotee means in any sort of criticisms, he will not respond, like Shomi Krishi. So he did not respond, but his son responded, and that's why something disaster came. So
Yeah,
that
the
attracted.
one that they missed out is like feedback. I said blasphemy, aparad, feedback, and criticism. All this gets lumped into, but they've got some subtle differences I mentioned. Okay, fine, thank you. So I was thinking that we should examine today within that little time that we have. You have to, is Anup here? You have to enable me so that I can share the screen, Anup.
Yes, Maharaj.
Assistant Anup here. Oh, yeah, okay. So what I want to do today is, with the time we have, I want to look into last time I asked you to, if you can, look up Ramachandra Puri's criticism on Chaitanya Charitamrita Anti Leela. Did some of you do it? I know you're very busy, but did some of you do it? Anybody did it at all? Sitarani has done it. So I'll be calling upon you. Do you have the extract there with you? Does anybody have the Chaitanya Charitamrita volume there right with you? I am not having it here with me. I'll have to go elsewhere to get it. If you have it, then you could just go into Ramachandra Puri's area and be ready. Maybe we can read out something from there. Anup, you're not disabled my screen, my Mac Mini. I mean,
Maharaj,
you're not
contacting them, Maharaj.
Yeah, I don't show I'm using two systems here because one is deficient. So I want to share with you two instances from Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, which are really wonderful and beautiful examination of criticism and how to receive it in different situations and circumstances. Number one is, I mentioned to you Damodar Pandit criticizing Lord Chaitanya. And it's very interesting to see how Lord Chaitanya took it up, because Damodar Pandit is a devotee. And we are surrounded by devotees, and mostly it's devotees who may criticize you. Haribol, Anup, can I share the screen on this thing? Somehow it says the host disabled participant screen sharing.
Yeah, send the message, Maharaj. They are not responding. The host, Vrindavan Institute.
Vrindavan Institute has to do it. Huh? Okay, then that's going to take some time. Who's your technical man, Prashanta Mataji? Is he online here? You have to share the screen. Allow me to share the screen.
Yes, Maharaj, I'm sorry. So looks like somebody's sleeping or something. We are getting you the rights.
Okay, I'll till then go ahead anyway. So the wonderful instance of Damodar Pandit, let me react that. I think you have read it. Damodar Pandit was a real amazing devotee. Damodar Pandit saw that there was a nice Brahmana, Oriyan Brahmana man who passed away, and he had a very beautiful wife, and he had a son. So the widowed wife, who was very beautiful looking, had a very nice looking son. And that son, in his distress, losing his father and everything together, came to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya also gave special attention to this boy. And this boy started coming regularly to see Lord Chaitanya. But Damodar Pandit connected some other things together in his head. He separately told the boy, "You don't come here." This is very amazing. He told the boy, "Don't come here to see Lord Chaitanya, you should not come here. But you know, so many people are coming and taking darshan. What will one person who is told, you don't come here, feel? I mean, why? Why should I not come? And he is a young boy, and he was naturally attracted to Lord Chaitanya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who will not be attracted to him? So this boy was attracted. And he was coming in spite of Damodar Pandit telling him, because he was feeling like a father to, and Lord Chaitanya was treating him very nicely, asking him all sorts of questions about other things and giving him prasadam and generally paying attention to him more than the rest. And Damodar Pandit never liked it. Every time the son came, he became agitated. And for once, when the son came, the beautiful looking boy came and Lord Chaitanya paid special attention to him and he left. Immediately Damodar Pandit could not control himself anymore. He just started talking to Lord Chaitanya. He said, this is not good. This boy meeting you regularly and you paying special attention to him is not at all good. You are a great teacher. Everybody knows you as a great teacher. Now we are seeing what the teacher is doing. And by his doing, other people are also going to either speak something or learn something bad. He just said this. He said, you are such a great teacher. And Lord Chaitanya immediately reacted, Damodar Pandit, what are you telling me? Because he was externally angry. How dare you criticize me? Is what he wanted to say. But he said it in a mild way. Damodar Pandit, how impudent is Damodar Pandit that he is criticizing me, was in his mind. Externally he said, Damodar Pandit, what are you telling? And then he said, you are a great teacher. Whole world is listening to you, right? And the whole world is benefiting from you. And now you talk to this young boy, that is also seen by the whole world. And the whole world is not like you. They will pass impudent criticisms about you. And I cannot take it. I can't tolerate it. Who can stop the whole world and its people from speaking anything they want? So it's mentioned very wonderfully. Damodar Pandit said this very openly in front of everybody. Lord Chaitanya externally got very disturbed with him. He said, your impudence has become so this thing that you can even criticize me. In his mind, he thought, Damodar Pandit is a simple devotee. He's a very simple devotee, and his criticism is out of great love for me. Then he thought further and said, I have no intimate friend like Damodar Pandit at all. These were the thoughts inside Lord Chaitanya. He dissected the whole situation very nicely. He didn't get immediately reactively angry with Damodar Pandit. How dare you criticize me? You know I am your guru. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am, come here to give mercy to the boy and to everybody, including his wife. Because Damodar Pandit made a comment that lady is wonderful. She's chaste. She's everything. But she has got one big fault with her. And everybody is wondering, what is he's talking? He said, she is very, very beautiful. He said, that's a fault with her. And you are talking to that beautiful widow's son, who also looks very good. And this will be connected by people in another way. And then when they say something, I can't take it. Therefore, you should not see that boy. That was this logic. You should not see that boy. And Lord Chaitanya said, this Damodar Pandit is a very simple devotee. He's so straightforward that he can criticize me openly. But his criticism is out of love. But Prabhupada comments, still it is not good that he criticized Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya did not react. He kept quiet, and it's mentioned that he smiled to himself. about how Damodar Pandit was openly criticizing him. And then later he told Damodar Pandit, I want to see you separately. And then he had a meeting with Damodar Pandit the next day. He called him to a lonely place, it's mentioned, not in public. And then he told Damodar Pandit, my dear Damodar Pandit, you cannot tolerate independent behavior of anybody, including me. Including me. You won't allow me to act independently of principles and other things. That your love for me is so much that you can openly criticize me. So I think that it'll be nice for you to go to another place. He said, you should go to Navadvip. You should go and visit my mother. You should go to her and inquire from her, offer obeisances at a lotus feet, worship a lotus feet for me on my behalf. And then you should tell her that I am coming every day to eat her offering that I promised I would come and take. And I am taking it. On so-and-so day, Makara Shankranti day, she offered and she was wondering whether I ate it or not. And the plate was empty and she went and filled again and brought it. Tell her that I ate the second time also. First one and the second one together, I ate. Let her know. In this way, he spoke about going and doing the service and is enthusing him to go and meet my mother. It's a very personal assignment I'm giving you. And my mother, I go to visit her every day. And so he said all this thing. Damodar Pandit got very excited. Lord Chaitanya is dealing with me very personally. He's giving me a personal assignment to go and meet his mother. And he was actually very nicely talking to Damodar Pandit and asked him to go to Navadvip. He took him away from there. So the way Lord Chaitanya responded to the nice, simple criticism of Damodar Pandit. Number one, he analyzed it immediately. He didn't react to it. Externally, he sounded a little angry to instruct others not to do it, which Prabhupada comments in his purport. I got that quote. I wanted to show it to you, but I'm not able to share my screen. Looks like now I can. Can you see my screen? Yeah. So, as Prabhupada is saying, as a simple devotee, Damodar Pandit could not tolerate criticism of the Lord, but unfortunately, he himself was criticizing the Lord. Unbeknownst to him, he thought it is better to criticize the Lord than for me to tolerate the criticism of the Lord, which is a good decision to make as far as his situation was concerned and as a devotee. And the deep feeling and decision that he took could be understood by Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya said, this impudence of Damodar Pandit is also a sign of love for me. He took that criticism as a sign of love. I have no other intimate friend like Damodar Pandit. Okay, so that's very sweet, very, very, very sweet exchange between Damodar Pandit and Lord Chaitanya. And then Lord Chaitanya took action. He sent Damodar Pandit away. Because if he stays, he's going to mess around with that boy more and then make a mess. Lord Chaitanya had his own plan, how to benedict that boy with Krishna consciousness. And he was like interfering in it, actually. But he knew that he was speaking out of love. He was not speaking out of envy. Speaking out of envy is the next example. You become a fault finder when you become offensive. The result of offense is you're consigned to be a confused fault finder. This is the effect on a devotee. Ramachandra Puri is a brilliant example of that.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
What happened to Ramachandra Puri is something that we need to look into as a second instance. One, how Lord Chaitanya received Damodar Pandit. Of course, Lord Chaitanya also affectionately mentioned and made a comment about this. He said that all of you are interfering in my affairs and criticizing me and making it difficult for me to lead my sannyas life. Nityananda Prabhu broke my danda. Very bad. Damodar Pandit criticizes me, controls me, and doesn't allow me to do what I'm supposed to do, giving mercy to others as a sannyasi and introducing them. He interferes in it. Then there is Mukunda, who feels very bad because I sleep on the floor on a small mat, and he's very disturbed by the austerity that I follow. He wants me to sleep on a luxurious bed. He wants me to be comfortable and have sense gratification. What to speak of Jagadananda Pandit? He wants me to use sandalwood oil, and if I did not use it, he got so angry. And this, all of you are controlling me. All of you are giving me great, challenge to my life, and I am leaving from here. Lord Chaitanya was, it's mentioned, Krishnadas Kaviraj says he was indirectly praising all of them. That you're all so dear to me. You take that extra step to go ahead and interfere in my life and do something for me. It's because of your love for me. I don't take it as a criticism, actually. But externally, I'm a sannyasi and the world should see it. So I'm going to say, this is wrong, you shouldn't do it. Damodar Pandit, you're wrong. Jagadananda Pandit, you're wrong. And Mukunda, you're wrong. And what to speak of others, you did this, you're wrong. You should not disturb me like this. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that he knows very well it is out of love for Lord Chaitanya that they were extending to do these things. You see, out of love, you can chastise a person, criticize a person. You have the right. And Krishna gives the right to Yashoda Mai to tie him up, to point a finger at him, to hold him and take him, pull him away, to chase him, to catch hold of him, to treat him in a manner that nobody will ever get a chance to. Why? Because of prema. So when a person criticizes out of love for you, do not mistake it to be ordinary criticism, which comes out of a fault-finding tendency or an envious attitude or a desire to see you belittled so that they can feel one up than you. These are all the material world's criterion for criticism of somebody. But a devotee normally, especially one who is mature, will not criticize you on that platform. Like when seen in Damodar Pandit's situation, Lord Chaitanya's situation, especially Guru, a very senior Vaishnava. He is not going to watch you doing wrong and keep quiet. Like the famous instance of Prabhupada coming to India, I think this is in Vrindavan or in Mayapur, I don't know, that the toilet, he goes around examining and he sees the toilet is so dirty and not flushed. And I said, who is that rascal who has done this? This is Tamoguna. And Prabhupada goes wild. And then he goes to the place where they're eaten sugarcane and dumped all the eaten, chewed up bagasse, whatever that is, and piled it up there in front of this thing and said, who is this rascal who has done this? Prabhupada was very solid. It is criticism, not just ordinary criticism, it's chastisement. But everybody was so scared of Prabhupada and they were scattering, and the concerned person obviously would have run away, far away, 1 mile, not to be seen by whoever had done it. Because Prabhupada was wild. How dare you not follow proper Brahminical, principles here? This is Vrindavan. This is Krishna Balaram's temple. How dare you keep it so dirty? And you are devotees residing inside the temple in the ashram. You are brahmacharis. You are grahasthas. And how dare you? It was chastising and strong criticism. This is not taken by the devotees in a normal fashion. It is definitely something very scary for that moment. But later, like I told you, Navayogendra Maharaj said, I miss the criticism of Prabhupada, my guru. So a mature devotee, actually, when he criticizes, and when a mature devotee takes that criticism, these are different reactions to it. But when a immature neophyte devotee is in a position where he has to take the criticism, he gets devastated. And normally, a mature devotee will not criticize a neophyte devotee. He will just may reprimand him a little bit and say, no, this is not the way to do things. You must learn how to do. You're new and you need to be trained, but this is not the way to do it. That's how you would say. But if it is somebody else who is a little better and more familiar with this ISKCON and more familiar with this thing, then you may use stronger words. Then if somebody who is quite senior has seen it and has not done certain things, you may get very disturbed. Because if a mature senior devotee is doing something that is totally wrong, then you have great reason to get very alarmed and disturbed. Very alarmed and disturbed. So then your agitation will be more. So a guru, a senior devotee, when he sees another senior devotee not acting properly, he will get very disturbed. He will get very disturbed. And because he is disturbed, he may have a strong chastisement come out. So these are levels and ways of criticizing also. When a mature devotee criticizes, he's also careful about criticism. Why? He's able to do controlled criticism. He knows exactly how to measure it up. Is he a very senior devotee? He needs a strong whack. Or he's a junior who doesn't know much. He just needs a light tap. I think you need to learn. Maybe somebody senior can teach him how to do this. That's it. So he knows how to tone it. Why? Because it's not coming out of envy. It is not coming out of a desire to belittle the person. It's not coming out of a bad intention at all. So when you are criticizing for the sake of the welfare of the devotee, for the sake of the welfare of the organization of Prabhupada, which is your responsibility, then you may do it, but you may do it carefully. You may do it in a manner that is reaching the target properly and it is having the necessary effect. Because that's all your desire is, right? So when the guru criticizes, when the temple president criticizes, when the zonal secretary criticizes you, or anything like that, we must know where it is coming from and why it is coming, right? So I was talking yesterday about the critic and the person receiving the criticism, and the situation and circumstance. That's another thing. Is it the appropriate time to actually criticize? Are there too many people whom we shouldn't say this in front of? Should I call this person in private and talk to him? Because publicly criticize will be too heavy for him. And it will not have the necessary effect and impact. Right? So that's why Damodar Pandit was called separately by Lord Chaitanya and said, I would like to see you separately. And out in a lonely place, he took and spoke to him and gave him the criticism and also gave him an action plan. You go from here, right? So here we'll examine now, after saying that, we will examine Ramachandra Puri's criticism. That was amazing. I told you yesterday, I asked you at the last session that when somebody is criticizing you, which aspect of you is criticizing? Is he criticizing your material aspect, your material gunas and your material qualities, or is he criticizing you spiritually? And you all said it's got to be material. Because I am hooked on by my false ego to matter, to my body, to my personality that I convey to others. And when you say anything to that, because I'm hooked on to it, I get affected. So mostly when we talk of criticism, we are talking about somebody criticizing your material aspect. But in Ramachandra Puri, it's a very deeper offense. He went and criticized the spiritual aspect of his guru. That's amazing. And then he got so much reaction from it. He descended to a very low level fault finder. Madhavendra Puri, his guru, who is also the guru of Ishwara Puri, who is the guru of Lord Chaitanya. Ramachandra Puri and Ishwara Puri are compared. We do a whole session on that. Ramchandra Puri, what he did was, and Ishwar Puri, what he did was, he was serving his Guru in his last times. He was very deeply aggrieved, feeling separation from Krishna. And Madhavendra Puri was chanting the names of the Lord. He was chanting beautiful verses and expressing his feelings. And Ishwara Puri was very nicely reciprocating with those feelings in the same mood. And he was physically cleaning his Guru, his passing of stool, giving him a bath and cleaning him up and changing the sheets, washing them. Laboriously he served him. With great endeavor he served him. And Madhavendra Puri became very pleased with the humble, obedient, surrendered service of Ishwara Puri, and he blessed him to achieve love of Godhead. That's the blessing that qualified him to become the Guru of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. On the contrary, Ramachandra Puri, he, because of wrong association here and there, he went during the last times of Madhavendra Puri, and he had the audacity to go to him when he was, chanting the shlokas, "Oh Lord, my Lord of Mathura, when will I be able to see you again?" Ramachandra Puri went and told him, "What is the use of this type of prayer? You should meditate on Brahman. Everything will be all right for you." He just went and told his Guru this. And he was, in his last stages of his life. And then the soft Madhavendra Puri, the saintly Madhavendra Puri, the pure devotee Madhavendra Puri, in whom Lord chose to implant the seed of ecstatic love of Godhead. Prithivite ropana kori gela premankura, se premankurera vriksha chaitanya thakura. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that in this Prithvi, in this world, the seed of ecstatic love of Godhead was sown in the heart of Madhavendra Puri first, and that grew into the Chaitanya tree. So Chaitanya Vriksha, it became a Vriksha, a tree, which we call the Lord Chaitanya tree, which is described. So the seed of the entire pastimes of the Lord that's going to happen is Lord Chaitanya was planted in the heart of Madhavendra Puri. The Lord planned it that way even before he descended. And here is Ramachandra Puri telling him, you should meditate on Brahman. You should give up this type of feeling. You should meditate on Brahman. A very deep spiritual offense. Worse than a Mayavadi can be condemned with. So the saintly Madhavendra Puri got so disturbed, deeply disturbed. They said, "Get away, you rascal. I don't want to die seeing your face." And he cursed him. So if you could be so critical, so offensive, so foolish, so stupid, that you would go and speak to your Guru, such an exalted personality like this. It's very horrible. Very, very horrible. So Madhavendra Puri earned the ill feeling and the curse of Ramachandra Puri earned the ill feeling of Madhavendra Puri. So he became a fault finder. He descended to a low level of being a fault finder in the community of Vaishnavas. This is a result of offense at the lotus feet of a very exalted person. Your mind will become crazy. Your mind will tell you all negative stories about Vaishnavas. It will push you so hard, you have no control over it. And you'll be forced to commit offenses, and you will descend to the lowest regions of hellish life. Because you'll be given intelligence to commit offenses. Amazing. You're finished. You're finished. And you're just on the way back down, rolling down. So that Ramachandra Puri, he came to Puri. And hell broke loose for everybody. he would be fed prasadam. Lord Jagannath's temple prasadam is given to everybody. He would eat very sumptuously. Then he told Jagadananda Pandit and others, you sit down, I will serve you. Then he very sumptuously served. He said, no, enough. And said, no, you eat. And then he served more and more to Jagadananda Pandit. Then finally, Jagadananda Pandit finished everything and he got up with great difficulty and was washing. And my gosh, a lot of prasadam. As he was washing his hands, Ramachandra Puri commented, I used to hear earlier that, all of you, Lord Chaitanya's followers, would eat a lot. But today I actually saw you eating it. My gosh, you guys eat a lot. But he's the one who fed him. He fed him. So this is his regular characteristic is that he would call somebody and say, eat, and then comment, my gosh, how much you are capable of eating. That's a lot you're eating. A Vaishnava should not eat like this. This is not control of the senses. He is creating a chance for him to criticize. And he will labor for it. And then he will happily criticize. He will do hard work to make a situation where he will commit something wrong. And then he will take that up and criticize. It's amazing. So this was not possible for everybody to tolerate. So the word went around that this person is out here. Be very careful with him. This man is like this. Word went round. And Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's in the heart of everybody as Paramatma, he knew everything about Ramachandra Puri. And Ramachandra Puri came there to meet with Lord Chaitanya with his fault-finding eyes, looking around very carefully. How can I trap this gentleman who is very famous and who is very powerful? That was all he could think about in Lord Chaitanya's presence. And so he tried very hard, it says. The Chaitanya Charitamrita says he tries very hard. But he couldn't find a fault with Lord Chaitanya. He was so perfect a sannyasi, so perfect a Vaishnava, that he tried very hard. Because as soon as he saw Ramachandra Puri, immediately he paid Dandavat Pranam to Ramachandra Puri and held his feet. And Ramachandra Puri started talking to him like, you're a small boy. I'm an aged Vaishnava. I am actually your guru's godbrother. Without saying it. So Lord Chaitanya said, to me, you're my father. And, he treated him immediately like that, gave him the respect. So the way Lord Chaitanya dealt with a very critical person is very amazing. Immediately he satisfied him by surrendering to him, respecting him, praising him, and not giving him a chance to criticize. It's very nice to watch that, how Lord Chaitanya dealt with Ramachandra Puri. And so he was really looking for a chance. He never got a chance. So he got a little frustrated. I didn't get a chance to criticize this person. He's too good. And then he was looking around and he saw ants. A whole line of ants going inside Lord Chaitanya's, Gambira. And he immediately said, look, people, ants, they are carrying, this sannyasi has got sweets that he's keeping with him. And that's where the ants are found away. This sannyasi is addicted to eating sweets. And true enough, sometimes people from Navadvip, Raghavera Jhali, Raghav Pandit and his sister Damayanti would cook all these things, and there's a whole sack of stuff. And every day, to honor them, he would ask, give me this item, and he'd relish it. And so many things, just out of reciprocation. But Ramachandra Puri finally found out, look at this. He's hoarding prasadam. He's got sweets inside and he's eating. And said, look. The sannyasi is eating. He found out finally. And he's eating too much, that means. So Lord Chaitanya declared that I will cut my eating to half. And then everybody was very morose. Look at you eating to half? For what? Swarup Damodar asked him, for what? Because I should not eat more. It's not correct as a sannyasi. Then whenever he would visit anybody's house, he said, only so much I'll eat. He gave a measure, I'll eat only so much. And everybody was very sad. There's a Brahmana, it describes a Brahmana who came to meet him and said, Lord Chaitanya will only eat so much, this much someone. He banged his head, my gosh, that Ramachandra Puri has come and spoiled everything. Everybody was, having bad feelings towards Ramachandra Puri because they're stopping Lord Chaitanya from honoring prasadam in their house like he would do. He would copiously eat and with a full heart enjoy the prasadam, and all that is stopped. And Lord Chaitanya sternly said, when they said, why are you worried about Ramachandra Puri? He's famous for this. He makes people eat more and then he criticizes them. He's very well notorious for this. Why do you have to worry about Ramachandra Puri and for his sake? Why are you people criticizing Ramachandra Puri? That's not correct. What he's saying is correct. A sannyasi should not eat so much. And I am going to take that advice and you don't criticize him. He's doing good to me by giving me correct understanding and direction. So when they criticize, they could not even criticize. Oh my gosh. So they couldn't open their mouth against Ramachandra Puri in front of Lord Chaitanya. So amongst them, they all couldn't express themselves about Ramachandra Puri either. But they all, were meditating on this man has come here and he spoiled everything. When will the day come when he will leave from here? So that we can feed with Lord Chaitanya. We can feed Lord Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya's behavior every day is, as soon as he sees Ramachandra Puri, he will pay obeisances. And he would tell him, you're like my father. I take whatever advice you give me and implement it. I'm very happy to receive instructions from you. Please tell me what I should do for you. Is there any service I can do for you? This is the way Lord Chaitanya responded to Ramachandra Puri. So very wonderful study of how you should behave with a critical man, with a man who's very critical of you. How to bypass and sidestep criticism and its effect on you without saying anything and getting involved with the Maya's invitation to come. You also commit some offense. You can also. So the way Lord Chaitanya did it is amazing. Real, not that Lord Chaitanya is only a great dancer, Gaura Nataraj. He danced and sidestepped the whole criticism of Ramachandra Puri. He went ahead and glorified Ramachandra Puri and paid respects to him and satisfied Ramachandra Puri. In this way, he put down his criticism to a great extent. Ramachandra Puri really could not criticize to the extent he wanted to. There's no chance for him. In this way, without telling him, Lord Chaitanya reduced the criticism of Ramachandra Puri for his own good. For his own good. Then he said, I take no offense at Ramachandra Puri's criticism. He is my father. He has a right to criticize me. He made it known that I am not taking it in a wrong way at all. He made it known to everybody. And he made it known to everybody, don't think bad about Ramachandra Puri. He's doing correct. So the way he responded, we don't have the quotes immediately, but if anyone of you has found that, you may want to read some of those texts. It's very interesting how he received the criticism and how Ramachandra Puri was determined to do the maximum criticism and how he pulled out all possibilities of doing that by acting in the right manner. In Vaishnava society, Maya catches hold of weak devotees and makes them the agent for committing offenses. When you have weak devotees around you, they will become the agents of Maya to affect you with criticism. And you must see Maya is operating through this person and sidestep it. It's not that person. He has lost his intelligence. Ramachandra Puri lost his intelligence and he became negative because of doing offense to his guru. So Maya uses such persons to reach out to you and agitate you, and you get agitated, and then there'll be, left, right, center, everybody offending each other, like it happened in Daksha's sacrifice. Each one cursed each other. And finally, Daksha got a goat's head. As their leader, finally he got a goat's head. All sorts of things happened there. It's only Lord Shiva who's seen there as a very mature person who just walked out when Daksha was criticizing him and never responded. But then finally, he needed to teach a lesson to these people because they're so immature. That was a different setting. So the point I wanted to make is Maya finds out who is the weak person and always acts through that weak person. So we should know the mechanics. And this is what Lord Chaitanya did. He knew exactly, Ramachandra Puri, I'm not going to be able to correct him. He's too far deeply involved in offense. And at this juncture, the best thing is to show my mercy to him by paying my obeisances to him and not give him a chance to criticize me. The beautiful character of Lord Chaitanya in dealing with a person who is so much of a critique is very interesting. Right? So I wanted to just recollect this, although I'm not able to do this fully. I'm just recollecting the pastime here briefly in sketches. I thought that these two pastimes are something that will add up to our understanding of what is criticism, how to take it. And in a Vaishnava society like us, when we are subjected to it, what's the best that we can do? Because we can also be recipients of criticism. And then number two, we can be critics. These two things, we can be critics and we can be the focus of a critic person. So, having said this, I'd like to open up for any discussion and question so that we can learn more from the realizations of many Vaishnavas here too. So tracing what we discussed yesterday, you summarized some of it. And today we discussed Damodar Pandit's criticism of love, chastisement of love, and the way Lord Chaitanya dealt with him, which is very exemplary and a lot of things to learn from that. Then Ramachandra Puri's criticism of his own guru about his spiritual level and achievement, which was a very deep criticism, due to which reason he lost all his sense and became a fallen devotee, criticizing other Vaishnavas. And then how Lord Chaitanya responded to that criticism. So, any questions or comments? Rajeshwara Gauranga Das.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you so much.
Please raise your hand if you want to comment or add to something or you have a question. Thank you. Rajeshwara Gauranga.
Thank you, Maharaj, for your wonderful class. Maharaj, here you mentioned about, two incidents that Damodar Pandit criticizes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramchandra Puri criticizes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was his spiritual master. Spiritual master. So Damodar Pandit criticized the spiritual master, and then Mahaprabhu corrected him in a different way. Sometimes we find that our counselors, so everybody has individual views, individual opinions. So sometimes counselors try to convince us in a different way, which is not acceptable, like the philosophical aspect, which is not acceptable. So sometimes the spiritual, our counselors, they are not acting in according to Vaishnava culture sometimes. So like Damodar Pandit criticized Mahaprabhu. So should we also follow like this Damodar Pandit? But we know that when counselors or senior devotees do like this, so then we should take some other senior devotees help so that we can discuss, we can correct him.
Okay, I understand your question. So you cannot imitate Damodar Pandit unless you have the same love Damodar Pandit has for Lord Chaitanya towards your counselor. If you have that same respect, that same realization about your counselor and that same love, then only you can manifest that type of a feeling. So because that was not taken as a criticism by Lord Chaitanya. He said that this is just out of love for me, he's criticizing me. There's no greater friend I have than Damodar Pandit. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita reflects the deep response and the feeling of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then so you see, we should remain in touch with ourselves. That's what I understood from Lord Chaitanya. When we are in touch with ourselves and not simply agitated by the modes and we react to something, then we are too superficial. But like I said the other day, you should stand where you sit. So you know where you are. You're in touch with yourself. So if it's such a measured person, then you can respond like Lord Chaitanya responded. But you have to make out that situation. It's not for me to comment on that. Whether your relationship with your counselor is like that or not, etc. But if the counselor is saying something on the sense of organization and management and everything, you can very well differ with it. You can very well critique it. That's not, we are told when people get initiated nowadays, the lines of authority paper says that if you have a difference with your guru in terms of management and certain things, which you think you know because you're in that position right there on the ground and he may not know, there is every reason that you may differ, nothing wrong with it. It's not an offense to differ in managerial stuff and other stuff because of me being right there and I know exactly, maybe you don't know. And you can, but when you talk about personal relationships, this Damodar Pandit's criticism was about a deep personal aspect of Lord Chaitanya. It's not an ordinary thing. He's telling Lord Chaitanya, I mean, if you slip a little bit, Lord Chaitanya could have concluded, are you trying to tell me that I'm trying to have an affair with the widow? You could have, through the boy, am I trying to throw in a line so that the widow will understand that I'm available to you and I'm something? That's what the people in the world will say. And that's what is the fear of Damodar Pandit. But that's never discussed anywhere. That's kept as a subtle background thing, which people understand. Maybe. But Damodar Pandit never speaks about it. All he says is, I can't hear people criticizing you. That's all. But that's what it means. But that's never discussed. It's very sophisticated. And it's about a personal aspect of Lord Chaitanya. What is personality? That is why Lord Chaitanya showed, you're so impudent that you can go up and criticize me and my action on a personal level, a private thing that I'm doing, you criticize that. But I know you're doing this out of great love for me. So unless you are in that same position of intimate relationships and deep love and respect and everything, you can't do that. You can't do that. You should sit and stand where you are. Don't imitate. Just act according to your situation, which is best for you and good for your Krishna consciousness. Okay? Right. So, Lalita Preeti Mai. You have another question? I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, Rajeshwar. Lalita Preeti Mai.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for showing this criticism in a very different dimension. So my question is like, you told when weak persons, they are being attacked, they have already lost their intelligence and the Maya is attacking them and she's also attacking us through them, and we should step aside, like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, just by praising them, glorifying them, showing all respects to them. So so I was feeling like doing this, does this mean that we are flattering them, and will this not give an opportunity for them to criticize others more, because they become proud, they do not see the fault in themselves and they criticize others more?
Well, you don't have to do exactly what Lord Chaitanya did. Lord Chaitanya was in a position of being a disciple of Ramachandra Puri, because Ramachandra Puri is a god brother of his guru. So he was treating Ramachandra Puri as per norms as guru. Therefore, he was playing that role correctly, according to Varnashrama, according to proper spiritual etiquette. You do the same thing according to your etiquette and your position. It's not that you have to go around paying obeisance to him and praising him. Not necessary. Not necessary. You do according to the social situation what it is. Who is he? Is he a neophyte devotee? Is he a very senior devotee? Accordingly, you behave with him. Don't show that his criticism is affecting you, but show humility and show respect to him. Right? In such a way that it makes him rethink about himself. It makes him understand that I think I did something wrong, I shouldn't have done it. Makes him feel that. How nicely this Mataji has responded to me. And she's not reacting the same way I did. She's keeping up her Vaishnav etiquette properly. I think I goofed it. I blew it. And rather, by your behavior, he would get affected in such a way that he should reform himself. That is how we treat people who have become agents of Maya. If we react, then Maya has the upper hand. And that's exactly what she wants. In a society of devotees, you are always surrounded by devotees, so no karmi, no outside person can actually touch you. So who will give you your karma and everything? It has to take effect, no? So it will happen like this only, through weak devotees. And we have a mixture of heterogeneous crowd of devotees at various levels. So we should see that Maya is going to use these people only to affect me and make me perform my karma. But if you can know that, it's a very difficult thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do. Not at all easy to do. But Lord Chaitanya did it. He's the Supreme Personality of God. He said that's ideal behavior. He wanted to show his devotees. Because he's come to show Apani Achari Bhakti Sikhayu Sabare. By my behavior and etiquette that I use, I will teach everybody how to perform bhakti. That's what he's come for. So many things he did highly idealistic for us. But that is the bar. That is the bar. You may not find yourself there. But then at least by bouncing off our activities there, we say, my gosh, I'm somewhere here. I got to really work on this. So these pastimes teach us to understand where we are and why we should respond in certain ways, or why we should try to respond in certain ways and push ourselves up notch higher. So it's an internal exercise. It's meant for our good. Whatever people say and whatever people think, we should not be bothered. It's meant for our good, so I should do. I should deal with this Vaishnava nicely, irrespective of how he deals with me, because I have to look after myself. It's actually a selfish desire to sidestep a Vaishnava's attack on you, because you're smart. Rather, if you go and jump, and that's what Maya wants you to do. Come in, I'm waiting for you. I'll deal with you too, like this fellow. Right? So don't give Maya a chance. This is how we have to protect devotees and their faith. The business of leaders in ISKCON is to protect the faith of the devotees in Krishna consciousness. in the movement, in Prabhupada, in the teachings, in the seniors and everybody. I call that the most important, valuable aspect. I asked in our organizational meetings, I was asking, ultimately, what are we trying to do after working so hard, organizing meetings, this thing, that thing, and we do so many things. What is our end product? What are we trying to make as an organization? What is our end product? So we all said our end product is not even books. It's the devotees who come out of the books. We were discussing value-oriented book distribution. And then it said that, so no, Prabhupada said you should just distribute the books, double it, triple it. I said, I know, but what did he want finally from the book distribution? We want devotees. We want people to read it and become devotees. So what's the end product of all the effort that we make? We want people to become devotees. So in the society of devotees, those who have already become devotees, what is valuable? The faith each devotee has in Krishna, in the Vaishnavas, in Guru, in the books of Prabhupada. That is very valuable. And Maya directly attacks that. It doesn't go around attacking all the other coverings. In fact, she gives you a lot of money, fame, name, position, plenty. Because what I want to attack is really the faith of the people in Krishna. That's my job. Because if I do that, everything else will crumble. I don't need to go behind other things. So that's our real product, the faith people have in Krishna consciousness. It's being built up. Being built up. That we should protect. So a responsible devotee will not at any time be instrumental in affecting another person's faith in Krishna consciousness. He will always act in such a way he should preserve it. That's the principle of the response that Lord Chaitanya is giving and any mature devotee would give. Never mind, Prabhu. I am maybe, like what you say, something bad. I need to improve a lot. I take your criticism deeply and I learn from it a lot. And I hope that, thank you very much. You've sidestepped it with your right attitude. And keep it at that. Control your mind from thinking, no, the guy actually was trying to tell this about you. And he was trying to make this point and others were watching all that. Forget it. Those are stories your mind is telling you so that you will react. No, the best thing for me and for the organization is to retain everybody's faith in good behavior and good Vaishnava etiquette. I'm not going to, escalate this any further. I'm going to keep it low, as low as possible, and not give Maya a chance. Not give Maya a chance to enter inside everybody. Right? So that's my comment. It's a long comment, but it's a comment that I thought it's a serious, interesting question that you asked. Okay, I hope that's helpful to you, Lalita. Priti Mayi Devidasi.
Yes, Maharaj, that was so valuable. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question or comment?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Rajeshwar Gorana. And there is Sitarani also. Okay. Rajeshwar, can I go to Sitarani and finish and then come back to Rajeshwar? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for a wonderful class. I have a reflection. You summarized all what I was trying to reflect. But then I just thought that I should actually say that again.
Yeah, please.
From what I understand, what you're trying to say is that one should see if the criticism is misplaced or valid. And if it is valid, then one just takes it as something which is growthful. And if it is misplaced, then one should really treat it as something that is arranged by Maya as a distraction for my devotional service.
Mm.
And I very much appreciated that point because normally we don't really hear about criticism in those lines. But to see that, and it is actually when one is being criticized, and once you value, once you just wait that is it misplaced or is it valid? And then if you see it from that angle, that this is Maya's way of pulling me down, then I think it would be easier to deal with it.
Mm.
So thank you so much for that.
But mostly it's very difficult to, in our daily activities, and we get busy doing many things, organizational stuff, managerial stuff, especially those who are organizing, managing, and taking up some leadership positions in the organization. They become very vulnerable. And that's something we should protect our leaders. And I tell devotees, don't take it very seriously if he has done it, because he's carrying something on his head. And if you also blame him for this, then most probably he'll say, okay, I can't take this responsibility. Be happy chanting Hare Krishna and doing this. So the flip side of it is, it's also our duty to tell, don't worry, I didn't take this thing, okay? I didn't take that seriously, your criticism. I didn't take it badly. It's perfectly all right. This is Samika Rishi's. We can learn from Samika Rishi that he said, no, it's okay. He just threw the snake off and he said, it's okay. After all, he's a king. He's got many things on his head and he must have got frustrated with something. And that's okay. I'm not going to take it. He decided not to take it seriously. But his son was not so mature, obviously, and he freaked out. His son went in. And then he called his son and very patiently again counseled him. That counseling of his son also is with such great patience. He said, my dear son, what you've done is something very, very wrong. You should not. He was teaching him. You're not getting angry with him, teaching him. And he told him that even if a person, insults you, physically harms you, he does all these things to you, you should never retaliate. That's a very amazing response. What to speak of criticism? So sometimes we should also protect our leaders. Samika Rishi was protecting the leadership, protecting the king, because he knows who Maharaj Parikshit is. And if at all he has done something like this, it must be one of his wild moves. So I should not take that as a regular practice of Maharaj Parikshit or his nature or character. He was very intelligent in concluding. He didn't fall a trap into Kali's plan. These are all great people. They are all if you look at the responses they give, you can see the same way Ambarish Maharaj responded to Durvas Muni. These are all amazing personalities. That is why those dialogues are very important. So we should protect our leaders because they are in the forefront getting attacked by Maya. And if you say, see, what happened to you? Then you also join Maya in doing the same thing to them. So a zoomed out view of what Prabhupada started and what we should do collectively together as a whole community of devotees and state our values and how to deal with criticism, which is actually coming from Maya, would be a strategy. Right? So thank you very much for that comment. Okay, Rajeshwara Gauranga, your last question. Sorry,
yes,
I think
Maharaj,
I'm holding up other people also.
No, Maharaj, I think Lila Madhuri Mataji is there, so I think you can take her question.
No, she's finished. Oh, acha. I mistook that for... Okay, Leela Madhuri Lalita Devidasi.
Hare Krishna Maharaj and Pranam.
Yes,
Maharaj.
please come online so that I may be able to see who is Leela Madhuri Devidasi.
Yes, Maharaj. Maharaj,
Yeah, tell me.
I have a difficulty. I don't know whether it is a difficulty or not. I'm serving under some senior devotee who keeps appreciating for everything. Doesn't matter what it is. Even if I go wrong something, if I don't attend Mangalarati, she gives her own reasons and appreciate me. No problem, Leela. You can do it next time. No problem. So I don't know. Is it a positive way I should take, or should I stay away from her, or I really don't know because.
Well, this should be another session about praise, not about criticism.
No, I was the one who gave the input of the last class that if somebody is appreciating, actually that person is an enemy. But I have to work under her.
No, you see, these are devotees. These are Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis. What I'm trying to say is that somebody is afraid that if they even give a small criticism, you may get discouraged. So they're handling you very gingerly, tenderly. But what she's actually trying to tell you when she praises you by saying that, never mind, you didn't come for today's Mangalarti, I'm sure you'll do it later better. She's very mildly reminding you that you should come for Mangalarti. But you are taking it as a praise, maybe. But that lady may be a very soft lady, nice, gently spoken person, who is actually conveying a message to you in a nice, civilized way. Never mind, you didn't come for Mangalarti today. But what you are saying, you should feel worse if she never commented about you not coming for Mangalarti. Then you should be disturbed. But the fact that she is commented, you should know that she's sending a message to you. I have noticed you have not come for Mangalarti, but I know that you're not a person who likes to stay away from Mangalarti. There must be some reason you have, but go ahead. I know that you will come for Mangalarti. It's a positive way of correcting you. That's how I would see it. Not that she's praising you.
Okay. But I see her praising for everything. Continuously, constantly, she praises.
Why don't you sit with her and talk to her? Are you afraid of criticizing me? You seem to be praising me all the time. Mataji, why is it like that? And then things may change for you.
Yes, that I can try.
That's what you should do if you feel like you go and have, because she's a senior lady. You can always, I see that always you're praising me and this thing. Then she may also understand, okay, you're asking for different, what do you call, higher learning. I can give it to you. She may then decide to give it to you. Okay.
Yes, Maharaj, I'll try.
Right. Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Rajeshwara Gauranga, you still want to have your question?
Sorry, Maharaj, it's now 9:15 minutes.
Okay.
Maharaj, so what is the root cause of chastising someone? I mean, we criticize someone. So what is the root cause for this? And this is one question. Another question is, you said that two things like Mahaprabhu analyzed it internally and he reacted externally to teach him that so that she should not criticize. And also you said that Mahaprabhu took Damodar Pandit privately to discuss. So this is the way to correct someone. I mean, those who are neophyte or something. I mean, not senior. So this is the way to discuss that no, you should not do like this, or to have a conclusion that this is my fault, or to have a discussion. So
Yes.
This is the way to.
Yeah. You're repeating yourself. I'll just summarize. I think 3 questions you asked. The first one you said, where does the criticism come from? What is the root? Well, it comes from many different ways. In the outside world, it comes obviously from envy, competition, greed, all sorts of things. And sometimes praise also comes from that type of things in the outside world. We should be very careful. So people want to see you belittled. They feel psychologically upped when they're able to find fault with somebody and criticize them and put them down. It's a psychological thing. These are all reasons that we can see in the external world. And in the society of Vaishnavas, if you have somebody who is like that, then it's very regretful. We, as much as possible, would expect some basic level of behavior from Vaishnavas. But then again, there are those who may hide behind being something for you as a senior, or as that, as this, or something, and therefore have the right to criticize you, and may use that and criticize you. And you may sense it. It's not coming out of a genuine feeling. It's coming out of something else. And you can go and directly talk to them. That's the best thing to do. And for the third question, in terms of, should we take everybody somewhere outside like Lord Chaitanya? Don't imitate the external actions. You should follow the internal principle and the internal intention. That is more important. External things and details may differ in different places and different situations and circumstances, but the inner spirit should be understood. That's the main point. Okay. we don't directly go and imitate. The situation may not be the same. It may not warrant that type of a treatment. So it requires some intelligence and application. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your association and for teaching me by your questions and by your very careful comments. Indeed, it was very pleasurable and a good experience to be with all of you. I pray to Krishna that he may bestow his blessings on all of you, Prabhupada and all of you, bless so that you will learn the Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita deeply and spread this wonderful message so that many, many more Vaishnavas are created and made. Om Tat Sat. Thank you. Haribol Mataji, Prashant Mataji, I hope that you are pleased. This whole session is to please you and your request, which you've been coming behind me for a long time. So I thought I must do something for you.
We are certainly pleased, Maharaj. We are certainly pleased. We will be calling you again.
Sure, Mataji. Just that my time is a little challenged now. We are building a big temple here in Coimbatore. And because of the lockdown, I am sucked into it because of so many situations. And I also put my finger in too many things. So, and programs.
We have to save you, Maharaj. We have to save you.
I really need some help.
We'll save you at least once in a while. You can escape.
No, I do a lot of programs. We are also having their academy running. We are right now running 5 Bhakti Shastri sessions in Tamil, 2 in English, and 1 Bhakti Vaibhav session. And I'm also involved in them and helping the organization and training others to do it. Plus, we are starting now 1 in Malayalam language, because in this season, in the lockdown, everybody is asking for. Since I hold some office in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, I'm being asked to do that as a sannyasi. So working on those things. So a lot of preaching, outreach, and a lot of education also going on. Just that, you know, many people require attention and counseling and some help. So you become a little busy. And I do need also a trip to Vrindavan and cool off somewhere. Chant japa unceasingly. Thank you.
Yes.
I really enjoyed the company of all your students. They're really wonderful Vaishnavas and they are thinking very deeply. And I am excited to be in their company.
Thank you very much for coming, Maharaj. We are very happy seeing you after a long time, having your association after a long time. And I'm personally very happy to see also your, I must say, evolving. I know you are giving all your heart to your service down there in South India. And I somehow, if I may say, I see some change in you. It's very wonderful. So we are happy, Maharaj, very happy.
Haribol, Haribol, please offer prayers for me to Shishi Krishna Balaram and Radha Shama Sundarji. And Shishi.
We'll pray. If you remember well, we will pray to Srila Rupa Goswami.
Oh yeah, you gave me that gift of all the holy waters of Radha Kund, everything. I use it even today. I put a drop of it, mix it up, and spray it on other people. It's still there with me. Last bit of it.
Good.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Haribol. Hare.
All right, everyone, we are ending this session here. I think this was a wonderful visit of Maharaj. Very wonderful personality, deep thinker. I hope you all got very much, lots of benefit from his association. One of our next speakers will be His Holiness Giriraj Swami. That should also be very wonderful. This very senior member of our Krishna consciousness movement. I'm not sure when he's coming. I think next to next week or something. So wish you all the best. Here I hear 13th of April. 13th of April and 16th of April, 2 days, will be with Giriraj Swami. So I wish you all the best. Please continue your classes. And we are very happy to have you. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare
Grateful
Krishna.
to you, Mataji, for arranging these value classes. It's really helpful, life-changing. Thank you so much.
Definitely for those who understand and who are following those classes, that should be very transforming. You are hearing very crucial information dealing with character and so many challenges that we are facing, because this is we are facing anarthas, right? We want to serve, we want to progress in Krishna consciousness, and so many things are pulling us down. So many circumstances are coming to us and we have to handle them. So these classes are wonderful. They are very practical and they are meant to tune and shape our consciousness. They are actually a study of consciousness. That's what they are. They're very elevated classes. They are an exploration of consciousness.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hari Hari Bol.